Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy and I help people with their breakups. And today I want to talk about long distance relationships. And I'm going to give you a story of my own. And I've had a few long distance relationships. I've talked, in parts about these. But I'm going to give you this one some more background. And we actually broke up and got back together again. And people really like to learn about that usually because in a lot of cases on this channel, you're thinking, how do I get back together? So, Um, so this was about 5 or 6 years ago, and this particular girl, we were together for about a year and a half, and in love, cared about each other, good relationship, not many fights at all now that I think about it, and I had to go back to the States. Wasn't making enough money where I was at in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I go back to the States to take this job. The job doesn't work out because I had family issues. That's a whole nother bag of crap, right? When I say family issues, my father had relapsed. He had been an alcoholic when I was younger, and he had been sober for 20 years, and he relapsed, and it just created this hurricane of problems in the family for a little while. So I was actually home I came home for a job, and I was home for that. And actually, it was a good thing for my family. But I digress, right? So during this time, I'm out of a job, but I'm kind of putting out fires within the family. And my girlfriend in Chiang Mai, who lived in America for quite a while also, so she understands American culture and what's going on, just couldn't believe I didn't have a job and couldn't believe I couldn't deal with this. We end up breaking up. She breaks up with me. And I'm thinking, God, why can't you support me through these bad times? And the reality was she just didn't understand. Like, why aren't you dealing with it? And to her, like, alcoholism isn't a big problem. My dad is able to have 4 or 5 wines every night. So her outlook on it was just something she hadn't dealt with before, and not understanding. And the fact that we had been apart 4 or 5 weeks and there was no sign of me coming back over, I think scared her a bit, and she was lonely. So I was hurt. I'm going through a breakup. I had just been through a bad one 2 years prior. And this was for different reasons. So I'm going through it. Start the no contact thing. I want to call her and everything like that. Because this breakup was back actually sheer distance, if that makes sense. I mean, we were just apart for 4 or 5 weeks. And she made it out that, that I didn't have a job. But it was more about, like, when are you going to come back and see me? So I did the no contact, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks. She had sent me a couple messages like, how you doing? I didn't really respond. So, I thought about it for a minute, and I went, you know what? This particular relationship, there's not a whole lot of clarity. I didn't do a whole lot wrong, and I know she cares about me. I know we were into each other when I left. So, there's something not right here. So I booked a flight out. I left. I said, screw it. And I went in there with no expectations. And she goes, so I just called her. I go, look, I'm coming out there. I want to see you, and I'm going to be looking at other jobs while I'm there, but I'll only be there for 2 weeks. She goes, well, we're friends. We're friends now. I just want you to know that, Mac. Okay. I'm okay with that. And in my head, I was okay with it, to be clear. I didn't have some like, oh, yeah, I'm going to bring a bag of roses over, and I'm going to, bring some chocolates and a wine, and it's just going to go all rosy. No, I didn't have that idea. I went over there, and I go, I just want to see for myself. I want to smack in the face, literally. You know what I mean? I want her to say, like, we're just friends and have no emotion. So I was okay with that. And she picked me up at the airport, and actually, she said, oh, you can stay at my house. She was house sitting for a really nice house, but you have to stay in a separate room. Okay. And I was okay with that. Like I said, I went in there with no expectations of being Ronnie Romance and, just sweeping her off her feet. I went in there to get face-to-face contact, have a chat, not really bitch about the breakup, but just see each other. Just be in each other's presence. And the reason I'm telling you guys this right now is because with the text message thing right now, a lot of you aren't even coming into audio contact. A lot of you guys are, we sat there and texted for 2 or 3 hours. That's not really connecting. That's not really seeing if someone's body language and how they feel about you. You need to get in fucking person. And that'll right away. When you're in someone's presence, especially someone you've been with, it'll either melt them or they'll just go into a cold-hearted, psychotic stare of like, yeah, you get something like that and you're like, oh. And I've heard people say this, wow, the coldness I got from this person, that means the feelings aren't there. I don't think that's an act, right? And you know, if you've been with someone a little while, if they're acting or they're trying to play something up, you need to get in their presence. Now, when I say this to you, don't do this when you've already broken up and you keep going back over to their house or being annoying or being creepy. No. In this particular case, we hadn't seen each other for 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, and on top of that, had broken up 2 weeks. So it might have been 2 months, right? So I just needed to go, I want to see I want to see her in person. And I'm not going to go, oh, why'd you break up? It wasn't the blame game or anything like that. Let's just see what it's like when we're in each other's presence. And you know what? Right when I got picked up, I felt her guard come down. She didn't give me a big hug and a kiss, but you could just see in her eyes, she was happy to see me. We got in the car. She took a couple double takes and kind of just gave my head a little rub pad or whatever. And I knew at that moment. And I didn't react or anything like that. I stayed quiet in the car. It was a long flight. I got home. I put my stuff away in the bedroom that I was given, that extra bedroom. And I just came downstairs and hung out on the couch. And it didn't take long. I'll just say that. It didn't take long to get intimate and, have a few kisses and stuff like that, right? And I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting any of that. Like I said, I just wanted to be in the presence of human-to-human contact. And if she was cold with me, I was prepared to get a room somewhere else or stay in that extra room and stay at another friend's house. I just wanted to see. In that case, it worked out. Now everyone's gonna go, oh, all right, now I I'll just reach out. It's been 5 weeks of no contact. No, you need to send me your story before you take an idea like this and twist it around to fit your story, okay? And you have to have the right mindset. I've told you, I didn't go in there hoping or wishing. I went in there accepting that we were broken up. And if we got back together, it would be a bonus. Just like I say, I went in there with that mindset. I was a really confident person at that point. I was going through a lot of shit back home, but I was confident with her, right? I was confident with women. So I just went in and I went, all right. And she could feel that. Because when I met her, I wasn't telling a bunch of, why'd you do this to me? Why'd you break up? Or I haven't seen you in so long. I was mellow yellow, man. I was calm. And it was relaxing to her that it wasn't some kind of blame game, some kind of who have you been seeing or what have you been doing? And it worked out. So that particular case, I didn't stay in the no contact. We got back together. We ended up together for another 2 years. Again, we had to do no contact. I moved to another city, and that kind of blew up the relationship. It had its toll where, we did the no contact again, and I just couldn't make the effort anymore to get over, and it wasn't working that way. Neither one of us was willing to move, and that was it. But going back to that, to getting back together, that's an individual case, where the no contact for 2 or 3 weeks worked, and then I said to myself, I'm gonna get, and if it didn't work, this is my mindset. If it didn't work, I got my clarity. Okay, we're done. It hurt, but now I know for real. Now I saw you in person. Breaking up over the phone or in text, I think is weak. And I know it's done all the time now. And I think having that emotion right in front of you is tough. But emotion and body language is big. How many times have you gotten a text where you didn't really understand the meaning, or you misunderstood the meaning and assumed it was something really negative or bad? So I just want to tell people that, individual cases are different, and at some point the texting has to turn into a live interaction. Okay? I hope that helps you, and please visit writemac.com if you want to tell me your individual story and get my take, or you want to book a live coaching session. Have a good day.